Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so today ASR is taking up DSVG and it's an alliance of Sweden and Munash. So hey, shout out to both of those guys, absolutely wonderful content creators. Uh, that being said, it's alliance war and you need to get down to the business. Right. So for this war, I'm going to be doing path 1 and 4, and I'll also have a very nifty final boss fight. Finally, it's been a while since I took some bosses. Right, so I am using Dr. Doom, Warlock, and Moleman, of course. Or should I say Mole God? Right. I actually, this time, for a change, started fighting in the first evening, just because I needed to help out a teammate with an energy. But what did I get for it? By the time I woke up, one of my fights got stolen. I always hate when it happens, but you know, I'll get them back. Either way, so I'm putting up a medium set of boosts because this isn't gonna be me kind of like clearing too much. However, it is very important war still. ASR is gunning for the first position with newly updated Alliance war rewards, so every death is important. Every death matters. Right, so path 1, I'm going up against Tigra, and I have seen Tigra here more times than I care to count or recall for. And I don't know, I definitely have never died to her. I have maybe once had a relatively hairy situation, but yeah, I don't know. She's popular placement here, and I can kind of see why, but at the same time, I don't think she's all that. Either way, still at this point, we have perfect yellow bar of 100%, obviously. Dr. Doom, rank 3 6 star, Sig 200 with medium sets of boosts. It's going to be quite tricky to get KO'd here. And on top of all of that, I do have max MD, and that is obviously super helpful for me as well. Now here, unfortunately, I did leave her at 2 bars of power, and I did not gain 2 bars of power myself, so I do take a few hits on block. I wanted to power drain her just below 2 bars of power, just in case she somehow survives, which she obviously doesn't. So basically, with one a bit mangled Doom cycle, the fight's over. Tigra really isn't like the buffest and toughest of the opponents. Next up, it's going to be Mysterio on this Masochism node, and I'm going to be using Warlock, and there is a cool thing with Warlock in Alliance War, that you can play him in a way that basically prevents opponent from using special attack like ever. So make sure you parry a bit, drop some heavy attacks, and that is going to be just about it. Just slow play it, don't hit him too much, and yeah, you can make sure that he never has a chance to drop that level 1. And that is where Mysterio fights get tricky. Obviously, aside from that very beloved heavy attack in community, especially after coming off from this week of Summer of Pain. I think he has gotten a new nickname, Heavy Stereo or something like that. But either way, Warlock has absolutely no problems dealing with this guy. As you can see, he hasn't thrown a single special attack the entire fight, and Warlock is just putting in work. He's degenning, he's bleeding out, he's losing power, all of that good stuff. That's why we like Warlock so much in Alliance War. He has like 4% health. I could have like hit him, but hey, whatever. The fight is done and dusted. Now, the next fights are already the next morning. Now, for this fight, I think I'm just going to use like a medium set of boost as well, because I wasn't clear when I'm going to be able to do the boss fight. And I wanted to put on Liquid Courage and Double Edge back. I actually had to take it off for like the previous set of fights. So I wanted to put up Liquid Courage and Double Edge for my like arena stream and just in general, because I will need it for the final fights. So I had to get this like one fight done, and then I will kind of like boost up heavily to do my remaining fights and the boss fight. But this fight is very, very straightforward. Doom is like a perfect counter here. You have that steady build up, unblockable, and spry. However, Silver Surfer is a good placement on these nodes, because whenever he charges a heavy attack or drops a special one, or whatever basically consumes his power cosmic buff, he's meant to inflict 3 armor breaks, which would give 3 debuffs and which would make Silver Surfer go fully unblockable. frequently and for majority of the time in the fight. However, since Doom is armor break immune, Silver Surfer has no means of inflicting a debuff on me, and it just becomes basically like an arena fight, which is very, very straightforward and very easy. So I'm just gonna dodge this one. So we do have that, what is it, altitude or whatever, that high ground node, I think, called here. It doesn't matter too much, just a tiny bit more damage in the block, and that is just about it. So I'm gonna drop a level 3 with Dr. Doom. That deals significant amount of damage here already. He's at 40%. Just go for double medium. And I'm gonna go for a bunch of lights here because, once again, unfortunately, he was not like at full power for me to drain enough to be at my level 2 immediately. But again, one more slightly mangled Doom cycle later, the fight is over. So both of the fights I actually didn't get like a proper Doom cycle going, but hey, you know, it's Dr. Doom. Right, and that is just about it here for now. And these fights are actually relatively recent. I only did them about an hour ago. Since I did notice that there's only one mini boss left, which I'm supposed to take, and then I have clear sailing to the boss afterwards. So this Havoc is actually very good and quite potent placement, because if he puts 3 debuffs on you, he goes unblockable, and also there's that how is that armor break node count? Crumbling armor node, which can make you lose your armor breaks. So Havoc is actually very, very, very solid placement here, but Warlock is like one of the best options. Now I do misplay here a bit. I did let my armor break debuff, armor up debuff get armor broken, and unfortunately also I did not manage to mitigate his power gain quickly enough, so he did in fact manage to launch level 1. However, so long as I keep power draining him frequently, I get rid of all of his plasma charges and he doesn't get any plasma on me, and we can see that I haven't received a single debuff from Havoc throughout the entire fight, and well, he's pretty much busted here. I just keep on power draining, making sure that he doesn't get any more special attacks to throw. So this fight went kind of okay, but it's a bit of a fail, because it's meant to be a fight where I make sure Havoc never gets to use special attack. Even though I could mitigate the after effects of special attack, I still was kind of annoyed with myself that I allowed Havoc that one special attack. That was not meant to happen. Right, so here I'm going to put on some skill boost, and I think I'm going to put on an indestructible boost as well, and look against who it is. It is Sweden's Hulkbuster. Right, and I was more than likely meant to use Dr. Doom for this fight, because he's also shock immune. But since I had put on Liquid Courage and Double Edge, I was like, nah, it'll be fine. So I went in with Mallman, and the first bit of the fight is going to go wonderful. Absolutely no problems, because even though there is that limber, obviously Mallman can still very easily find the openings. But at the same time, my bleeds, my shock damage does plenty. Now, there will be a problem later on, where this fight is going to last longer than it's meant to last. And the additional note is that White Magneto pre-fight was actually a bit wasted, because Mallman is not a hero and Mallman is not a metal champion. Therefore, he does not have access to that passive parry stun, which is kind of like the entire point. So, hopefully nobody from my alliance watches this and realizes that I was using a different champion that I was meant to use. Everything's going fine up until this point, where Hulkbuster gets 6 armor debuffs. So he has 6 armor ups. That means I have like pretty much no ability accuracy, and at this point I'm not inflicting like any bleeds or anything like that. Luckily I can still crit, but the fight is definitely kind of like lasting longer than it had any right to do. Anyhow, job's done anyways. So Mallman is a decent option, but definitely not the best. And I kind of wasted that White Magneto pre-fight guidance thing. So yeah, don't tell anyone. Don't tell anybody in my alliance. Anyways, it worked out fine. And now here's going to be the first mistake. He just randomly threw a heavy attack and I was late. And luckily for me, I did have that indestructible 3 boost. And Mallman did purify the incinerates. But that is how you waste an indestructible 3 boost. That is how you immediately waste an indestructible 3 boost. But now that that is sorted, the rest of the fight is going to be perfectly fine. I'm going to throw some level 1s here just to gain some more monster mass charges, and I could have tried to build to level 3 if I wanted to, but I decided to go with level 1s, and once I'm gonna have like 7 of them, I think I'm gonna end their frenzy, deal a crap ton more damage, and just finish it off with regular true accuracy. Really, so long as you have true accuracy in this fight, you don't really have anything to worry about, aside from getting hit, which I will actually. I will make one mistake here. One more mistake. So this isn't the smoothest Molman Modok takedown that I have ever had, but you know, it happens and it goes well enough. So here I did trigger frenzy, everything's wonderful, and here he crit me for 13k. The bastardo. 13k damage like immediately. However, still got to do all of that frenzy damage, and here I used one monster mass to go on block, unstoppable, get another easy opening. At this point I have no charges left, but he's at like 7%, so, and I'm at 50, so it's all good. So it's not quite the smoothest Modok takedown, but you know, I was on point with my dashback intercepts and all that other stuff, so fair play. I'm never too worried taking Modok bosses with Molman, to be honest, even though sometimes I do make some iffy mistakes. Now, war itself, we actually did quite bad. This is another very, very annoying thing ASR does that I absolutely hate, because our opponents gave away like 5 deaths relatively early on, and it was quite clear that we're probably going to win it. But for whatever reason, and I'm not like trying to, I don't know, call somebody out, but for whatever reason, collectively, as an alliance, this group of people always end up playing significantly worse if opponents had a bad start. If it's a tight war, like if this would have been a tight war, we can finish at 0 deaths, at 1 death, sometimes 2 deaths. These 4 deaths, I think, is about as well. That's bad. It is what it is. It's just a bad showing, and the deaths were silly and they were stupid, and all of them could have been avoided. But as soon as opponents kind of like give us that early lead or advantage, people just go careless. And that is something that absolutely cannot happen, because currently the season is more than likely going to be decided with these death counts and keeping them low. Because, yeah, ties will be frequent. We might take a stumble. Obviously, if any alliance goes 12-0, then you're likely going to win the season. But with how often alliances tie and with how unpredictable these low death wars are, like our last war was like 1-2 or 1-3 or something like that, this is just something that we cannot do. So I really do hope that this is about as many deaths that we give away in a war this season if we want to be running for that first spot and maintaining that first spot. But on the bright side, this also marks the halfway point of Alliance War season. We have went 6-0. Well, we haven't finished the war yet, but it's practically done here. And yeah, so hopefully, very hopefully, we can carry on in the second half of the season as we have done in the first, and get that shiny tier 5 CC selector and those new cool rewards. But that is it for today's video, so I do hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, we're gonna catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about